Hey friends, it's Laura with Laura B. Flosstube. Welcome or welcome back. Thank you so much for joining me today. This is Flosstube 52. It is February 27th, 2024, and I am coming to you from the beautiful, sunny, warm Columbia, Missouri area. So I cannot believe it is February 27th and it is 75 degrees outside. Like, how is that even possible? I don't even know, but I am so thankful for it because it is gorgeous. I am so excited that the sun is shining, the birds are singing, and the wind is kind of blowing too. But it's all good because it's such a gorgeous day, such a gorgeous day. So I want to talk to you about what I have done since the last time we've discussed my crafty cove. So I'm going to share some cross stitching, some quilting, some retreat updates, a really cool gift that a friend gave me, and an amazing repair that my husband completed for me. So without further ado, we're going to jump right in and we're going to do cross stitch first. You may remember last time I was talking to you about my featherweight stitch, and I really wanted to get that last little bit of the bottom of the sewing machine done and filled in by the end of February. Well, I cannot believe it, but it actually happened. Yay, yay, yay. So I have the bottom of the sewing machine filled in. I do want to set a goal for this for March. I'm not really sure what yet. I know I have a couple days because it's leap year, guys, but I'm going to look at the pattern a little bit and decide how much I want to accomplish in March, and then set that goal to get this stitching up and going. So that is the first one. And again, this one is on 28 count. Ooh, what is it? Monaco. 28 count Monaco. It is not the called for colors because I am making it to resemble my own Singer Featherweight, which is painted a gorgeous teal color. And I've been working on this one since last year. I believe I started, I think it was my birthday stitch last year, actually. So I've been working on it almost a year. I cannot believe I haven't gotten more than that done, except that I can because I didn't really like the Monaco fabric. The more I'm using it, the more I'm, stitching on it and everything, the more it's loosening up. So the more I am enjoying it. But in the very beginning, I was like, this is not fun. So there's that about that. But I do plan on getting the featherweight stitch done this year. That's what I'm going to say. By the time my next birthday rolls around, next year, I will have it done. So we'll set a goal for March and hopefully obtain that. All right, so next up on my cross-stitching adventure is the Houses on Pumpkin Lane. This is by Pansy Patch Quilts and Stitchery. I'm doing the first block the first stitch in the series. It's a series of 9 houses. So I am doing the pumpkin house. I have not made much progress on this. I did take the hoop off of the fabric, if that makes any difference to you. But this is all I have. I have that top border started. It is not finished. I still have the little sunflower looking flowers to do for that top stitch. So this is going to become a goal for March. I had originally said that I wanted to get the first house done in February. Well, that is not going to happen. So we're going to hope to get the first house done in March. I am just not stressing over cross stitch this year, you guys, because I have so much going on with work and school and life that cross stitch is very important to me, and I love doing it, and it's definitely a way that I calm myself and relax in the evenings. But it's not something I'm going to stress myself out over. So when it gets done, it gets done. I'm going to set the goal. If I don't obtain it, that's great. If I do obtain it, that's even better. So that's where we're at with that one. Okay, next up. I have made progress on this. So I am doing the Lori Holt You Are the Boss stitch. So here is this completed stitch. Most of what I'm using is called for colors, but actually, no, it's not. I changed pretty much everything except the gray. So I've been working on this a lot, and I know for February I had shared that I wanted to complete the middle portion and the border. Well, I have gotten both of those pieces done, and actually last night I put a little more time in on this because I was having so much fun with it. And really, that's what it's all about for me. If I'm having fun with a stitch, I'm just going to keep going on it because why not, right? So I am definitely having fun with this. I have the border done. The border is not perfect. I am off half a square at the bottom, which I'm gonna have to compensate for. And I do have 2 squares that are off a stitch as well, too big. So I'll have to compensate for those too, but it's still gonna be fine. And I'm not worried about it at all. But in the middle there is the you are the boss of your own quilt. And I do have this first square and a second square started. So this is going to be super, super fun to get it completed. For March, I am going to put this one to the side. I think I will probably have some time maybe this evening and maybe tomorrow evening to stitch a little bit more. But I'm going to put this one to the side for the rest of February and either do Pumpkin Lane or the Durene Jones Christmas Stitch Along stitch. So, but for March, I do want to try to get like 2 more, maybe 3 more of those little star squares completed on that stitch. All right, so Durene Jones, I have her in the stack because I want to talk about this. This was a February goal. I was going to do another square on my Christmas stitch along, and I did not get that done. But that's okay. So March, I'm going to say that I'm going to do 1 more square and hopefully get that done. I do have a weekend in March that I will have a lot more time to do whatever I want. So I may just devote that entire weekend to stitching or quilting or just crafting in general. I'm kind of excited about it, honestly. But for right now, for the goal for March, and I might adjust it as the month progresses, but I'm going to say 1 more square in the Christmas Stitch Along with Durene Jones. That was a 2023 Christmas Stitch Along. And I believe you can still get her patterns for free. It's in her Facebook group. I'll link it down below. If you're a member of her Facebook group, you just go and download the patterns. They're like JPEG images. So you just download those and then you have them to stitch at your leisure. All right, so the last thing that I'm bringing back for March is the Summer Memories. Now, Summer Memories, you might remember that I've done 3 of them, but I had a 4th one selected. So I wanted to do this one, the Proud and True. I have not started it. I do have the floss colors pulled for it, but I would like to make this a goal for March. And in fact, I may make that my birthday start. Yeah, I might just make that my birthday start because it'll be a quick, simple one to do. And I feel like I can probably get it done. And I would like to be able to get something done that I started for my birthday. Okay, so that is pretty much my cross stitch update. Let me grab these and put these to the side. I do have a few things quilting related to share with you. One thing I'm going to tell you about, but I'm not going to show you. I am going quilting Saturday at my brother's, so I'm super excited about that. I think I have 5 quilts to take with me, maybe 6. I think 6 quilts to take with me to quilt. I don't think I'm going to get all of them done. I'm going to try my best and get the ones done that I have prioritized. One of which is a oversized queen, basically king size quilt for my husband's aunt and uncle. I worked with his aunt this last month or so, just asking her about colors and pattern. And I feel like I shared that the last Flosstube. It's the Oberlin Star from Missouri Star Quilt Company. So I took that project with me to retreat and it is done. Like the top is together. So all I need to do is quilt it. So I plan on quilting that this weekend at my brother's. I'm super excited about that. If she's watching my video, haha, surprise, you didn't know. But if she isn't watching my video, it will still be a surprise for her. So that is super, super fun. So retreat was great. It was a blast. That was pretty much what I worked on all of Saturday and Sunday was that king size quilt. And then Monday was the last day of retreat. I was there just like in the morning hours and I did 3 table runners for our quilt show marketplace, which is coming up in September of this year. So in addition to that at retreat, I got the cutest little flannel jelly roll, which I don't really do much with flannel. Like I just don't. Unless it's like baby burp cloths or something like that. But this was a flannel jelly roll. So I just grabbed it and did a really, really quick jelly roll race quilt. So you can just see how just cute little fabrics. And I really just did sew the strips together into a little quilt. And it's about 36 by 42, I believe. So nice little kid throw quilt, and I'll be quilting that one this weekend at my brother's as well. That one will be donated to Angel Wings, which is a nonprofit group in Mexico, Missouri that does foster care family support, and they do an Easter basket project each year. I know I've mentioned it a few other times in other videos, but that one will be going into the pile for quilts for them for next year. And then in addition to that, I also picked up another kit that is for the Quilt Show Marketplace. And let's see, this is quickly become my favorite fast and easy quilt pattern. This one finishes right at 36 by 45. So it might be 38 by 45. It's not huge, but it is super cute and super easy to do. So basically you do all of these in strip sets, and then these are just 6.5-inch squares. So you just sew your strip sets together, cut your squares, put those in an alternating pattern all throughout the center, add a cute little inner border. This is like a 1-inch strip, so it's like a 1/2-inch finished strip, and then this outer strip. This one, I am serious. I had this together in probably an hour's time. So it's called the Illinois Road. So if you're looking for a quick and easy little gift idea that makes a huge impact, I would highly suggest you do this because it is super cute, super fun, super easy. All right, so that's Illinois Road. And again, that's a marketplace project. So I will get that quilted this weekend and then turn it in to our marketplace coordinator for the quilt show. And she'll have one more item to put into the marketplace for sale. All right, so the other thing that I got, Miss Pam, thank you so much. I am so excited about this. I have seen these puzzles, and I love puzzles. I have seen these puzzles, I've wanted these puzzles, and I have just talked myself off the ledge multiple times. But she contacted me right before a retreat and was like, hey, so I have like 2 puzzles of the same thing, and I know that you love Lori Holt, so I was wondering if you would like this puzzle. And I'm like, oh my gosh, yes. And so she dropped this off, and it was a door drop off because oh my gosh. The class I'm taking for the graduate program is kicking my butt. And I've been so tired so early in the evenings that I was just like, it was like, 6 o'clock or something. And she's like, can I drop this off at your house? I'm like, oh gosh, well, yeah, you can, except that I'm already in my pajamas and I really don't want to have to come to the door or outside or anything. And I mean, we're friends and I love you, but we're not like pajama level friends, right? Anyway. So so thankful. I am so happy. Thank you so much for not judging me and for doing a door drop off for me. I am so excited about this puzzle. And Chris, my husband, his name is Chris. Chris suggested that I put this together and then frame it and hang it in my craft room. And I'm like, oh my gosh, yeah. And he's like, oh yeah. And then you can hang the quilt. And I'm like, I haven't made the quilt. And he's like, what? You haven't made the quilt? And I'm like, I haven't made the quilt. And he's like, well, I think you should make the quilt. So I'm assuming that Be Happy is on my horizons of making the quilt as well. So again, Pam, thank you so much. So sweet, so kind. Love you bunches. Okay, so my other little shout out of complete glee and delight. You all know how much I love my Juki, right? I love my Juki. Here, I'll swing you around. I love my Juki DX7. It is amazing. It sews so fast and it is so amazing and I just love it so much. But I took it in for a service last year and I told the guy, something's wrong with the foot controller. And he's like, okay, I'll check it out. So he did. And I picked it up and I was like, so what'd you find out? And he's like, nothing's wrong with it. And I'm like, okay, nothing's wrong with it. But I feel like it's lagging. Like the machine is not going at the speed that it needs to be. So I took the machine to retreat with me, obviously, sewing with it the whole time. And I'm like, it's driving me nuts. It's not going as fast as it needs to go. And so I ended up just unplugging the foot controller and using the start stop button, which it worked and it was fine. And I put the entire Oberlin quilt top together with it, with that method, but it was not pleasant, right? I like my foot controller so I can, start and stop at will with my foot rather than my finger on the button. Although I tell you what, by the end of retreat, I feel like I am a pro with the button now too. Anyway, so I got home and I told my husband, well, actually I didn't tell my husband. I got home, I was testing some of the things. I was like, I cannot believe this is such a bummer. The machine's 4 years old. I took it down for service. They're telling me there's nothing wrong with it. I'm telling you there's something wrong with it. But they didn't believe me or whatever. They didn't understand or something was going on. So I was like, you know what? I think it's the foot controller because the start stop button works perfectly. So I just ordered one and they're expensive. I mean, they're not like new machine expensive, but they're expensive. So I ordered it and then I was like, okay, I need to break the news to Chris and tell him that I had to order a new foot controller for my sewing machine and it was like, expensive. So I was like, hey, just so you know, the foot controller's gonna be showing up. And he's like, what are you talking about? And so I'm telling him what was going on. He's like, well, let me see your old one. And I'm like, well, let's wait, because what if it's not the foot controller? Maybe I'm just crazy, right? So the new one got here, I plugged it in, machine sewed at the speed it was supposed to. So it was not lagging, it was not slowing down, it was not like going up and down like it was. I was concerned it was the motor on the machine or something, but then after the whole weekend of using the start stop button and it not being a problem, I'm like, I don't think it has anything to do with the machine, it has everything to do with the foot controller. So that's why I ordered one. And so he's like, well, when the new one gets here, let me see the old one. And he's like, there's a resistor in those things. And I'm like, no, I don't know that. I don't know what's in a foot controller. I just know you press on it and it's supposed to go and it's not going. And so the new one got here, like I said, it was fine. So I gave him the old one and I was like, okay, so check it out, do whatever you need to do, right? And so he did a lot of research and he's like, okay, there's no resistor that you can like replace in these things. And I actually talked to one of my friends who owns a quilt shop here in town. And he's like, there's no like service on foot controllers. You just have to replace them. And I'm like, okay, well, all right, that's cool, right? And so my husband looked at it, took it apart, and then he cleaned it. He cleaned it up. He said it was like really dirty, like lots of lint, lots of, fluff inside the foot controller itself, which I can't believe that it was like inside there. But I mean, I use my sewing machine a lot. I sew a lot. So in 4 years' time, I mean, I can believe it, but I can't believe that it wasn't sealed enough that it would keep that out of the foot controller itself. So he cleaned it up and like very delicately with a Q-tip, and he may have used some rubbing alcohol, I'm not sure, but he cleaned it all up, put it back together, and he's like, here, plug this in and see if you can, if it makes a difference. And I was like, okay, I can do that, so I plug it in, and I was like, you know what, I have a perfect project, and that's when I made the jelly roll quilt. Oh my God, he fixed it. Like, it is purring like nobody's business, and it is going to full speed like it's supposed to. Works beautifully. So I sent the new controller back because, well, I don't need it. And now my sewing machine is fixed, and it is amazing. I'm telling you what, it is so handy to have someone in your life that has a mechanical mindset and is not afraid to take things apart and put them back together and clean them and do whatever they need to do. I mean, this guy, he's amazing. So yeah, just got to give a huge kudos, thank you, and shout out to my husband because he saved me like $150 for a foot controller. And now my sewing machine works marvelously, and I've made both of those projects in record speed because my sewing machine can go zoom zoom again. So I'm very happy about that. So, okay, that was a lot to just tell you that I have a great husband, but I have a great husband. Okay, other than that, let's see. I mentioned school is kicking my butt, so there's that, and life is going well. My husband and I went to the lake this last weekend. Oh, actually, he actually came down one night for when I was down there for a retreat too, which was so fun. We went out and had some pizza. I went to this little bar that they had live music. I think we danced like 80% of the time that we were there, and it was so fun. I love this guy. All right, so, and then last weekend we went back to the lake because the little bar that we went to was having another live band, and we're like, oh, I want to go do that because we don't really have venues in Columbia that have live music where you can dance or feel comfortable dancing, but it's totally cool there. So we went back, we had pizza again, actually, and went to the little bar and listened to the live music and had a great time. Stayed at the Lodge of the Four Seasons overnight, which was super fun. And we had a just great experience this last weekend. And I am so thankful to have a husband in my world that is just in for doing fun things with his wife. So yeah, that's kind of where I'm at. My birthday is next week, so I'm looking forward to that. We're getting out of town again next weekend, going to Kansas City for a couple. Actually, we're going to a concert up there and then out to dinner a couple times. And then we plan on doing some little antique shop hops and maybe some thrift store fun as well. So looking forward to all the fun things my husband and I have planned to do together. And just looking forward to the school semester being over because I'm going to be so happy when this class is done. But other than that, that is my crafty and life update for this edition of Flosstube. And I will see you in 2 weeks with Flosstube. If you have not noticed and been following along, I did start a new quilt sew along. I'm doing a Christmas tree quilt that I'm going to use to display my special ornaments on, instead of putting up my Christmas tree this year. So that's been super fun. Just released I will be releasing the 4th video in that series this Thursday, which is Leap Day. So be watching for that. And then we'll continue on with that series until that quilt is done. The other thing I want to draw your attention to is that Saturday, one of the quilts I'm taking with me is the Bloom quilt that I did the quilt sew along for. And I will be doing a little bit of video on the quilting of that. And then I plan on putting a video together on attaching a sleeve and binding and finishing that quilt top up. So if you did the Bloom quilt sew along with me, be watching for a couple more videos coming out really soon on that project as well, just wrapping everything up. So super fun times, and I hope you are having lots of fun crafting. I hope the sun is shining where you are. It greatly improves my mood. So I hope that you're enjoying our almost spring weather, and I hope you're finding some time for crafting. And until next time, happy stitching.